Today on Outdoor Oklahoma, we introduce you to a special school teacher that's found a way to integrate his love of hunting and fishing into his classroom. We'll also get to tag along on his son's first turkey hunt.
Only in Outdoor Oklahoma.
Well, hello and welcome to Outdoor Oklahoma. I'm Todd Craighead. If you're like me, well, you've had a handful of influential teachers over the years growing up that really had a huge impact on you. And teachers are in a unique position to be able to expose kids to brand new opportunities and challenge them beyond their comfort zone. And thanks to a couple education programs operated by the Wildlife Department, that includes the opportunity to possibly learn a new outdoor skill like shooting a shotgun or a bow and arrow. Today we're going to introduce you to Keith Dillingham. Now, Keith is the Ag Ed teacher at Drummond High School near Enid. And he was one of the very first teachers in the state to sign up for our Scholastic Shooting Sports and our Archery in Schools programs. Then we'll tag along as Keith takes his own son Connor on his very first turkey hunt. And we'll wrap today up by visiting with a couple wildlife biologists on how you can improve your lands with native grasses. But first, let's meet Keith Dillingham.
It always amazes me. At the beginning of the school year, I always ask students, how many of you have ever fired a firearm? How many of you have ever shot a bow and arrow? And I guarantee you, when I asked that question for the first times, probably 95% of them had done either one of those things. Or I didn't know that students didn't have these opportunities. I guess I just take for granted that I did. I'm always looking for ways to provide opportunities for students. I try to think outside the box as much as I can. Wildlife Department came up with archery in the schools and scholastic shooting sports programs, and I was on board immediately. Loved those deals. We were a pilot school for the scholastic shooting sports contest, and it's provided my students with multiple opportunities, and we just love it here. My administration is supportive of it, and students love it, and it really gets students active, engaged in FFA and ag education. I am fortunate to have what I believe is the best administration in the state of Oklahoma. We've got a school farm that is literally steps away from my ag building, and on that school farm we're allowed to shoot archery, shoot trap at any time. So my administration is very, very supportive of this program to allow that to happen. And I know that doesn't happen everywhere, so but they're all about giving students opportunities and thinking outside the box and providing those opportunities for students to be successful. And that's what it takes sometimes. So it's a great place to teach where you can have that kind of support all the time. To me, FFA gives students so many wonderful opportunities, not just traditional agriculture, production agriculture, but it also gives us flexibility to give student opportunities in other areas like wildlife. I've got several students who raise game birds. Every summer we raise fish in our aquaculture tank, and students receive a lot of recognition and awards for their SAEs in wildlife management. So it's been great. I can still give students opportunities in wildlife while teaching ag education and FFA, and my two passions come together. So that's why I love my job.
Mentor, friend, leader, whatever you can think of, he's it. Because I honestly don't know where I'd be without him today. I'd probably just be sitting in the classroom learning how to cook muffins or something.
He's like an old good friend. He's not strict or anything. He's just right there with you. If you need help, he's right there to help you.
Keith Dillingham is a shining example of a teacher who fully embraces the opportunities he's been given to incorporate his love of the outdoors in the classroom. And it's not just his students that think he's pretty special either. At last year's state FFA convention, Keith was recognized as Oklahoma's Outstanding Ag Ed Teacher of the Year.
The Outstanding Ag Ed Teacher Award winner is Keith Dillingham, agricultural education instructor, Drummond High School, located in the Northwest District. This award recognizes teachers who are at the pinnacle of their profession, those who are conducting the highest quality Ag Ed programs. They are community leaders, innovators, and catalysts for student success. Congratulations, Mr. Dillingham.
Our congratulations to Keith as well. Now let's see some of that love for the outdoors put into action. We tagged along with Keith and his cousin Chase Kokajon as they took Connor on his very first turkey hunt. And as you'll see, well, the hunt happened so fast and so early that the guys had time to make it to school that morning with time to spare.
I know growing up what being outdoors and hunting and fishing meant to me, and now it's just a great feeling that I can see my son following in my footsteps. He's able to go out, fish, hunt, and do the things that I loved and was passionate about when I was a kid. And I know that he loves it probably more than I did, or maybe even more. So it really excites me to be able to get him out and get these experiences. Look at that fan. I didn't think it was going to happen. They flew down earlier than what we thought. They came down about 10 minutes earlier than usual.
You see them coming over those trees?
Yeah. And then the hens saw us, didn't they?
I don't know if they saw us or if they didn't like something, but man, after they walked out and I called a little bit, and those 3 jakes, they came right around the corner.
What'd you think, Colton?
Oh, I was shaking a little bit.
You were about to shake that tree. You were shaking so much.
Made good shots on it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Perfect, just like you've been practicing. Perfect. Good
He's
job.
a pretty bird.
Those 3 jakes came back for you, didn't they?
Yep.
Boy, he's a nice one though, isn't he? Boy, that's a good one.
You know, that's about what my first took.
How close
Good job, buddy. High five.
You know, how close were they? They're about 30 yards probably, 20 or 30 yards, good shot. Got him right here by this decoy, didn't you?
Yeah.
I would say to parents out there that don't get their kids involved in the outdoors, that you need to. There's too many kids that get locked up on an iPad or video games and never get the chance to go outside and see what the outdoors has to offer. Whether it's fishing, hunting, hiking, whatever. Being out there is what gets their minds to thinking and makes them creative thinkers, to be out in the outdoors and to see nature firsthand. If you can't take them hunting or fishing, find somebody who can mentor them and let them do it, but please give your kids that opportunity in life, because I promise you someday they will thank you for it. All right, Colton. Good job, buddy. So proud of you. First turkey. I couldn't be prouder
Give
of
me
you.
a high five, bud.
Good
That's
job.
awesome, man.
Good job. Good job. Let's get him to the truck. We'll get him home, get him cleaned. You can learn how to clean one too today. We'll get our decoys gathered up and we'll go on home. Okay?
Look at that. Colton! Look what you did. You killed a double-bearded turkey for your first turkey.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've shot one. I haven't shot a double-beard. You shot one with your first bird.
Yeah.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Look at that. There's a double beard. That means you can add them both up.
Yeah.
Okay. When the guys got to school that morning with Connor's bird, it was the perfect chance for an impromptu lesson on how to clean a turkey. Chase Kokajon just happens to be a wildlife technician for the wildlife department at Canton WMA and was the perfect guest instructor.
You can dry that out, clean the meat up off of it, salt it, put a little borax on it.
Hang that on the wall.
Lay that. What you can take the breast out whole with the bone in it, but what I like to do is just fillet it off boneless, and then you can either fry it as turkey strips. You can make it's really good fajita meat. It's really good fajitas. So you got your breastbone that runs down the middle, and you have 2 slabs of meat on each side.
You guys eat
Just like
turkey sandwiches ever at home? This is it right here. That's how they make turkey sandwiches, right off this breast meat. That's your main cut of meat on a turkey.
Just follow that breastbone down. Thomas, you're always hungry.
Yeah. You know, you buy a turkey in the store, they leave the skin on them. They just pluck all the feathers. You can do that too with these, but we like just skinning them like this. This is a lot easier way to do it. So you can tell this is one side of the breast. You can get a lot of meat off of this. You know, we can roll that in flour and fry it or grill it, make fajitas. You can do all types of different things with this meat.
One way you can tell if the bird's mature, or in this case a jay, by just looking at his tail fan, is you have these middle feathers right here are going to be longer than your others. So what the reason for that is he hasn't had his second round of feathers yet, and so he's just got the long ones in the middle. They call them, in the turkey world, they call them tall tails, and that means that they're an immature turkey. A full fan turkey, all of his tail feathers will be long. He'll have a real even fan.
That no doubt was a special day for Keith and Connor, but it was also special for Chase doing the calling and for me behind the camera. You know, being a part of someone taking their first bird never gets old. Thanks for the great memory, guys. Coming up, we're going to head down to Cross Timbers Wildlife Management Area and join up with private lands biologist Doug Scholing for this week's Management Minute.
Hello and welcome to Management Minute. Today we're down in the south central part of the state on Cross Timbers Wildlife Management Area. We're here with Brandon Baker, the biologist on the Wildlife Management Area. So Brandon, can you tell us a little history about the property and maybe the plans that you have for it?
Yeah, actually the history, it was actually an old cattle ranch and previously, and then we actually bought the property not too long ago, and actually we're in the process of converting old introduced pastures into native grasslands. So the reason for that is the Bermuda grass is not beneficial for wildlife whatsoever, so we're wanting to try to reestablish it back to native grass to enhance the wildlife habitat on the area.
Do you have any target species you guys are interested in down here?
Yeah, specifically, you know, bobwhite quail and like I said, some of the other ground nesting birds, dick sisal and grasshopper sparrow. But why we're interested in that is Bermuda grass, you know, it becomes a monoculture, and so you don't hardly ever see variety of forbs and legumes present, which isn't beneficial for wildlife. So what we're trying to do is establish these native grass areas so the ground nesting birds can utilize those for their nest, and also for specifically quail, you know, it creates some open ground where they can find seeds and insects and get around, and like I said, provides a lot better nesting structure for all of them.
And if a landowner is interested in converting the monoculture to a native grass, what would the process be?
Well, first you got to understand it's a lengthy process, so it's going to take some time to establish those native grasses to what you want. But basically what you start with is herbicide applications, and it just depends on how thick the Bermuda grass is. You know, usually it takes at least a couple herbicide applications to really thin down the Bermuda grass, and you may not have, you know, eradicate it completely, but you can eliminate just about all of it. And we specifically on this area, we usually start out with using Roundup, the first application, to try to get a pretty good thorough kill, and then we try to follow up with clethodim, which is a grass killer, and because we want to try to keep forbs and legumes and stuff present so it's not just bare ground.
What's the best time of year to do that herbicide treatment?
Soon as it starts greening up and growing season begins, it's actually a good time to start getting on it, you know, before it really gets, you know, robust and tall.
And after you've done your herbicide treatments throughout the growing season, what's the next step?
Well, generally in the fall, generally late August or so, we actually go in and disc those areas up, and then we actually plant a cover crop. You can plant all kinds of cover crops, but we plant wheat on this area, and so it's real easy to get established. The purpose of the cover crops that we plant is specifically for erosion, and then also to have that cover crop there for whenever we go plant the seeds in the spring. It keeps that seed from blowing, because that seed, you're just planting it barely below the surface, so there can be some wind disturbance on the seed dispersion. And then also that cover crop, it does add some extra benefit to holding moisture there in the ground where the seeds are.
And once your cover crop is established, what's the next step?
Well, once my wheat gets 5 to 6 inches tall there in the spring, I actually go back in with a herbicide treatment, Roundup, and spray it, because I want it basically to keep that height. And then now I'm ready to start planting my native grass seed.
So this project started a year ago, and we're just now putting the native grass seed in the ground?
It is a lengthy project, but it takes all those steps to actually make it work.
So do you use just a normal grain drill to?
No, you don't. You actually have to have a specific native grass seed box to actually be able to plant it. And I don't say if you want, I've got one on the back of my tractor.
Okay.
We'll go take a
Let's
look
go
at
look at it. Man, Brandon, this is a nice drill.
Yeah, it is. It has 3 different options of seeding styles. It has the lagoon box on front, and then it has just regular old grain box, and then it also has this native grass seed box. And the differences between these seed boxes, specifically on the native grass style, is it has agitators in here because that native grass seed's real fluffy. And so anyways, it's got to be able to agitate that seed to get it dispersed down to the bottom of the box. And then it also has fingers down on the very bottom side that actually pulls that native grass down into those tubes to distribute it out the bottom of the drill.
Man, Brandon, this is some specialized equipment.
Yes, it is. It makes native grass planting a lot easier. And you can actually purchase this drill or drill like it, and then you can actually, drills are available at native grass seed distributors. You can actually rent equipment there, native grass seed drills, and then you can also get them at the conservation districts, and they're in each county. They're one county, they're conservation district in each county in the state.
Okay. So you get this planted, you know, this coming year. So what do you expect it to look like, you know, next year?
Well, good question. I've actually got a spot on the other side of the WMA that we can look at to show you exactly what it looked like in one growing season.
Okay.
All right, Doug, what we're looking at here is some native grass that I actually planted last year. So you can tell that we had a really good stand of what you're looking at here is switchgrass. And what you can see behind us is, like I said, primarily switchgrass with a few forbs that have come up. But the reason why it looks so good in just 1 year's growth is last year, if you remember, we had really good rainfall amount. So this isn't typically what you get in a normal year. But looking at this, like I said, it's a lot more beneficial from, like I say, what we talked about earlier, monoculture of Bermuda grass. It's more of a bunch grass, which that's what we're looking at, primarily working with, is bobwhite quail and dickcissel, a few other ground nesting birds. So that's why this is so much more beneficial from a wildlife standpoint.
Well, Brandon, thanks for having us out. And this has been your Management Minute.
All of our Management Minute segments are featured on our website, wildlifedepartment.com. From the Wildlife and Lands Management tab, go down to Landowner Assistance. And if you'd like to have one of our biologists come and visit with you in person about how to improve the wildlife habitat potential on your property, just give us a call. Now here's this week's outdoor calendar. Hey, thanks for joining us today. For all of us at your Wildlife Department, I'm Todd Craighead, and we'll see you right here next time